awaiting the refresh. It's late. It's early. Pick one. Alright, so if that's going to connect, allegedly this is connected. So do I actually... I did connect the streaming software. You know what? It says it's up. How about we open that in a new tab just to go check. Alright, welcome back. We are continuing this from earlier. Before we get there, I just want to make sure this is actually doing what it's supposed to. Okay, so I'm getting a report, evidence, that says it's live. So, let's continue on. What we have here is the display from, what is this thing? An MSI MS-16J9 Is that what it is? I've forgotten so many times. MS-16J9 laptop. Allegedly, it got stepped on when the lid was closed, impacted in this general area. You can see it when we had it connected. Can we? We're not going to power it on. We don't have the heatsink on. We have to clean that up as well. Alright, I had to check the audio for a moment there. I wanted to make sure what I'm listening to isn't going out over my mic. I do not want to rebroadcast somebody else's live stream or video or replay. Excuse the attire. I did come from the day job at night. I think I've found a way, but see, it doesn't connect reliably from like YouTube Studio to, or Restream to YouTube Studio, but see, I always end up with this screen, nothing, never connect or go live, I never get the button to hit go live. But as you can see, Restream is a thing. Looking at my channel, allegedly it's there, so we will leave it there. I'm going to close that and open the chat. Not that I think anybody's going to pop into this chat at this ungodly hour. But why not? Alright, we've got a little bit of chat. We got the replay window up. Let's go back to work. Oh wow, they didn't even have that one taped in. Amazing. Find a little pointy. We're going to try and not do any more damage to this screen. Not that it's good, it is cracked, but one thing we can do, because I've had more than one person come in and ask about upgrading to a different screen in their laptop. We have a 1080 screen here. We also have another new one of these, but this would be something we could check to see. Do they have a 30, if they have a 30 pin connection, which was what, external EDP, external display port, then a good chance that this would work in their computer. So we got something to test with, at the very least. While we're here, let's make it a little more permanent. It's late, so correct. And this is a 1080p display. Tester, and it's what is it, 30 pin EDP. Alright, there we go. We got it marked. Let's save it for later. We have a screen to throw in. Is this the same size? Does it match? You know what? It does match up. It looks a little different, but it definitely matches. And without cracking it. All right, I think we've accomplished something. Please remove the film. What are you thinking? Okay, very good. We do need to lift this to install our bezel. Our adhesive is actually pretty sticky there still, so let's go ahead and lift this off our display. Very nice matte screen. And another thing to check, anytime you're doing a display and you pop the bezel apart from the top lid, take a look around the edges of your bezel and also around the edges of your top lid, and make sure that you haven't lost your magnet. Let's try and get a closer view of that. That's whenever you shut the lid, that's going to, I think usually it affects like a hall sensor or something like that, some type of switch. Hall sensor can be a switch, and that will put your laptop to sleep whenever you close the lid. So sometimes they're in the top lid, other times I've seen them in the bezel. You do not want to lose that, so do take care to not lose it. Are we where we need to be? It appears that we are. We've got an issue with that. Ah, okay. Issue resolved. It just took a little bit of a clip or a press, and it snaps right together. Clip, clip. This one, not so much. Are we misaligned? Is there another issue? It appears as though we have an issue here where it doesn't want to clip back together. Slight misalignment. Let's get this hinge out of the way. Not as successful as the other side, might I say. I think maybe we can do away with this display cable. Let's put it... You know what? Instead of making it too difficult, we're going to unsnap this and look. Take a look in this corner and see what could possibly be going on to stop us from snapping back together. I believe it's just the cables and the placement they happen to be in. Let's go ahead and pull these Wi-Fi cables down through. We can adjust these at any point in time. And we'll see if that nets us any type of result. Those wires out of the way. So much better. Okay. Okay, so going around the edge. There we go. All snapped together. We didn't break any of the tabs. It's a little annoying whenever you're popping stuff apart. You break the tabs that latch it, and then you got a floppy corner or floppy straight section. Very nicely built, sturdy. Not saying you couldn't break them, but at least on this top lid, I am digging the setup that they had. We're gonna have to clean this thing up a good bit after we're done. as well. And now is some time to see what we can accomplish here. Let's get this thermal paste off of here first. Alright, thermal paste gone. At least it is there. Alright, we need a prop now. Why not? Kitty, get over here. Will this even work without losing everything? Alright, we're going to be close. To one side. Perhaps we get something square. Yeah, I guess it don't much matter. What are we doing? We're going to clean these fans. If possible, if it comes off of here easily. We're not going to break any seals, any tape. Alright, so here, let's take a good look at what we have going on here. Really want to get zoomed in so we can see. So as you can see, there's some actual dirt buildup. That is preventing at least some cooling. It's not completely clogged, but that is definitely having the fans run more. The laptop's running, the hardware processor, running hotter. System's not being cooled as efficiently. So we're going to go ahead and clean that out. Let's move these out of the way. Get rid of the trusty black mat. And let's try and find something to brush that out with. I think we have just the thing right here. I'd really like to not get any dirt down on that tape for the fan, but look at that. Is it going to focus on it? Probably never in a million years. There we go. Look at that blob of carpet. dust, lint. This is I got this out of some old lens cleaning kit, I think, that came with a camera, possibly. Like an old film camera. It blows out through the bristles, but as you can see, it's pretty crappy. But you know what, the brush, when you put some heat shrink around it and shrink it down, careful if you do this with nylon bristle brushes, the bristles will melt. Keep them covered. To use heat on your heat shrink or a lighter, it just makes it a little stiffer, perfect for cleaning out things such as this. We're gonna have a lot of work to do on these fans. What to do, how to do. It's late, or early, heading towards 4 a.m. How are we gonna clean that out? Oh, what is that? What are you? Did I actually bring you out here? If I did, I'm so happy. What is that? I'm probably never going to use it in a million years for what it's made for, so we need something that can be very quiet so we don't blast an air compressor in the early morning hours. Let's see. Will you do the job? Sure, we'll ruin a brush. We've got a brush. Let's back this off a little. We've got a brush here, so. And also, we can make some whistly sounds. Don't do that. See how floppy the bristles can be? No stiffness to them. Yeah, it's not. That one sucks. Let's go back. We're going to try the normal little bench broom that I have. Just the bristles are longer, a little stiffer on it, and a lot thinner. So what I'm trying to do is get back in. Quite a bit of dust just came out, so I'm going to call that a good thing. Let's see how clean it is. We'll compare one to the other. We'll look from the top side, of course. Alright, so this one doesn't seem as dirty, but we'll just wait till we get it. Okay, so there's one fan. You can kind of see dust around the edges on the blades, and here is what we did with the other one. So still some dust. Doesn't look as bad, so let's finish the cleanup on this, put it back together, and move along to the other side. Gonna go over it one more time the same way, brushing. Being careful to not put too much pressure on these. You don't want to snap one. You snap one fin, the whole fan is going to be unbalanced. Could you snap one on an equal side if there's an even number? I don't know, but I do know it's a nightmare when you have one broken fin, so do be careful if you're attempting to brush clean off anything like this. You don't want to break one of the blades. Slight bit of smoking around this thing. Not a lot. Not saying the current owner smokes or anything like that. But if it was bought used, refurbished, recertified, who knows? Quite very possibly. There's some smoking going on. Residue from smoking on computers cleans off very differently than just like dust and regular dust from a house. Even a dirty place that's not well kept, the dirt is much different than when you smoke. That is what some regular dust should look like. Smoking dust is way more brown. really low on the blue juice. All these holes at in this stuff. Let's throw this side back together. I think that's very, very good. We're just going to go ahead and balance this thing on edge to put the screws in. First, we have to get the snap part aligned. All right, aligned. Stand it up and put some screws in. If we don't lose them, fling them across the room. I'm good at that. The later it gets, the further I can fling these screws. That seems to be my proven track record. Alright, we ready? Let's take a look. Two. What are we saying? We saying carpet? Is there a screw I'm missing, or is it just... Nope, just okay. There we go. That's what we're looking at. So we definitely have some dirt in there. Not as much as the other side. So it does go in fairly deep though. Let's pull this out and take a little look. It is buried in this side in the heat sink. There's other pieces deep in there. Yeah, that went in. And all it takes for this to start building up is one hair from like a cat or an animal, any type of hair, a little piece of lint, and it will start literally just blowing, and every little piece will start catching on that and building out further. So it's good to go ahead and get your computer cleaned out once in a while, whether you do it or take it to your family member who is the person that's into this stuff. I think there's a technology computer person in every family. Or to your local shop. Support your local shop. Some big box stores do work. I guess you could go ahead, go there. I don't want to say not to, but I don't want to say to. We'll just remain neutral. We'll be, what, Switzerland in this case? Is that the neutral country in the game of Risk? Switzerland? Let's see, we're Switzerland. try this. Alright, should be very well. What are these pins on this one? Support? They just literally support the fan. They just sit there. Missing on the other side, but hey, can't win them all, I suppose. Alright, we'll get the inside surfaces of this cleaned out, get it put back together, and go for reassembly and testing the screen. Alright, that's pretty good. We will reassemble and move on. Alright, let's go ahead and try and get this all clipped back together. Alright. Fair enough, there's one. And these screws are pretty tiny. As you can see, so we'll go ahead and get these back into our fan. 3 per side. I can't say that I'm disappointed that I didn't fling any. Actually relieved, because I normally, the smaller the screw, the more likely I am to fling across the room. And yeah, we didn't do that. So that's a form of something to celebrate, right? All right. Zoom this back out. Back out. And now we go for putting this thing back together. I really don't want, yeah, I don't want to move these silicone pads too much. We don't have any to replace them, truth be told. We should, but there's quite a few thicknesses. Now, it's something to make note of. And I generally do it quickly, but when you are disassembling a computer and you're prying on plastic, there's going to be little pieces of plastic snap off. And here's one such piece, if it'll focus. Come on, Sony, grab it. You can see right on the edge there. See that burr sticking out? That little tiny piece was actually just stuck to this silicone pad. Just looked like a flake of dirt, really, with how big it is. Well, a chunk of dirt. But it wasn't just under the edge, it was up under it a little. So it could have pressed on something on the motherboard, depending on the area it's in. How drastic that could be, not huge, but I always take a look at them to make sure that there's no devastating stuff sticking to the little silicone pad. Let's go for the trusty black mat. We'll grab that in one moment. Why are we not zoomed out? There we go. Alright, so there's our display. We now need to reroute our wires and I'm trying to think how I want to say this. Okay, so that sinks there, that sinks there. We have some slots that, when this goes together, slots right here the hinges fit into. Just had to check those. So, we're going to have a quick coffee break. If you got it, drink it. It's not the best hour for it, but perhaps if you're just getting up, it's a perfect hour for coffee. All right. Real quick here. And take a moment and clean up some of these tools. That's one thing I try to do. Whether everything is cleaned up, can take it or leave it. But I at least always try to put at least the tools back so I know where that stuff's hanging. So let's at least go for getting that done. I usually do it generally after the job, but all this stuff that I'm not using, not going to be using, why not now? It's just an annoyance later on, so we'll go ahead and put it away now. So this is just two of the, one was a real old one that came with a camera, and then the other thing I got stuff out of to clean was just one of the, you can find these cheap camera lens cleaning kits in a lot of different big box stores. So let's put you back there. Back. Alright, there's that. That's mostly everything away. I'm going to get out one more tool just for tucking wires in. We have our screwdriver. We're done with the fine threaded Phillips. So let's continue. We need to route some wires. These get with the fan. Now that that is snapped back together, we'll pull them back up. They're no longer in the way, impeding our path forward. And time for a heat sink. We have to clean off these CPUs. So let's go ahead and work on that. We didn't use that side. Let's get the CPU and the GPU is what we're going to clean off now. We'll get in there and get it close as we can shot. There. It's always nice when you're cleaning off thermal paste that isn't completely dead and there's a little bit of tack left to it. You should never really reuse it, but I don't see anything demonstrably wrong about reusing it in a pinch if you have to. You don't want dirt and gunk in it though, so do try and make sure there's nothing in it if you do have to go that route. But it's just nice when it's still a little soft. You don't have to start scraping on these chips. Alright, we're going to use our one blunted point to just very lightly go along the edge of, this looks like this would be the GPU, mobile GTX 1080. There is, oh, I hate it when they do this. Let's see if we can get it off there. We'll stick it back down, but we'll at least get it cleaned up under it. If it will come off easy, then we have no worries. If it doesn't, then we've got reason to worry. So it's a black sticker that goes around the edge. We're going to take and clean the thermal paste off of it. Keep the orientation. Some of the adhesive did come up. We want it to re-stick. Careful when going in under if you're going to lift that sticker off, and then also careful going around the edge here, as there are little capacitors and resistors. You don't want to pop any of those off. You're going to need some very good skills to resolder any of them back on, and more than likely a microscope. Perhaps you could do it by eye with hot air. Good luck to you, my friend, if you do pop any of them loose. That's not the goal here. We have got a massive thermal compound. Let's try and clean it up with some alcohol. Brush, where are you? What can we do with you? That's too big, not gonna work. We'll just continue with alcohol. Will this hurt anything? I doubt it. But it's just, I really think manufacturers put way too much on. So I don't think I'm alone in that. I just think they goop it on there, and without much thought to how much is going to spread out and cover everything. Does it need to be there for these little chips? As far as I know, in my opinion, no. In my knowledge, no, it doesn't need to be. Not on the chips, just on the die in the center. Right, I think that's as good as we're going to get. Alright, let's get our sticker. We're gonna center it back on there. We have the adhesive the same way that it was. Let's go over each of the dies. We're actually never even hit this one with any IPA yet, so go smashing the camera with my head. That's the move at 4:11 a.m. Any little bits of alcohol that might have got in under the sticker are 1, non-conductive, and 2, going to dry up long before we get this thing back together. Hello out there, lonely person in the chat. How's your evening going? Good, I hope. Alright, let's pull this back out and take a little look, a little see. Go get our thermal compound. We're going to goop some back on here and probably make just as much of a mess out of it as was there in the first place. And there we go. I'm going to take a second look at all of our silicone pads. They are all in place. Everything else can be cleaned off. We have a massive black hair stuck to one of these silicone pads. I'm trying to get it off of there. And what will this do to them? Anything? Let's experiment. I've always wondered. Now's the time for a science experiment. We're going to take a quick minute, clean these up again, and dry them off. We did hit the pads real quick with alcohol as well on a Q-tip, just to clean any dirt and lint off of them, and they actually look better than before they were handled at all. Alright. We ready? Ready to squeeze that goop out? When lining these up, attempt to set it straight down over the holes where it's going to attach and screw down. It's fairly close right there, so let's go ahead. Take a look. We know we have the fan and we have the other two. All the screws are the same size, so we can start applying them. We're going to go ahead and see where they recommend number 1 at. So we have, that's great. We have 1. Let's do this in the pattern that is suggested here, okay? So we're going to follow the number path. We're going to do 1. and 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there were black screws holding those down. 7, 8. Can't be. Had to be silver. No, they were silver. The black ones were holding down the hinges, which coincidentally we just forgot to put down. So we have to lift our 4 screws out and do it over. Man, there's just no way to do it without breaking our seal on that. Well, we know it worked. Why the heck not? We'll clean it off and do it over. But first we're gonna put the dang hinges down. And this is going to go up in this area for now. Okay. There will be triangles for where you need to put screws. As always, just like on the motherboard, you'll see little triangles stamped in on the corner. And this is most laptops, most computers that are built. Let's see if we can get down that far. I'm sure we can. I've showed it many times, but why not show it again for anybody that may be watching that hasn't watched something before? Okay, so the motherboard itself does not have the white triangles. However, you can see on this here, we have a triangle here with this label, and then one here with this label. We have one pointing here, but there's nothing there, so obviously we can only go here and here. And this will be later, and this may be with a fan, I'm not sure. But we'll get there. And funny enough, there are no white triangles on the motherboard. There's very few screws holding it in. I count 1, 2, 3, I think 4, 5, maybe 5 screws holding this whole board in, and then you have your little daughter board for the hard drive. It has 1 or 2 in it. Alright, let's continue. Get these hinges down, then redo our thermal paste. We do it live. Leave the mistakes in when we can, whenever it can. Even when it doesn't connect, when we try to do it live, we still upload the whole video and leave the mistakes in there. Okay, there's that. We have that. Let's go ahead and clean up. not peeling the sticker back off. We didn't goop it down under there like the manufacturer. There's no big wall of it built up all over the little capacitors, resistors and whatnot, so we're just gonna give it a buff off. It's not gonna look as perfect as the first trip through, but I think we'll be all right. Alright, that's both of those. Let's go for our heatsink again. We're going to try and get as much of this off with this. Come back and hit it with one more possibly. Alright, what other mistakes are we going to make? Mistakes were made, people. Don't believe the hype. Mistakes were made. If this was Christmas time, I'd be getting coal. That mistake was so bad. We didn't screw the hinges down. Just a lump of coal in my stocking for that one. That was so bad. Damn sure Flat Earth Santa is not bringing me no computer like this. Not for forgetting the hinges. Okay. And we're back to where we were like, what, 20 minutes ago? Something like that. We need thermal compound again. At least the stuff where it unmixes in the front's gone. We're going to have slightly thicker stuff. We should, which it's okay in my book. A little thicker. It's the stuff that it was back behind, the stuff that typically unmixes a little at the tip. Get up here. What are you doing? You're being silly. Quick one. And we're empty. We gotta go for the shake. We gotta go for the shake. And it's unmixing as well. Okay. That was cold. Not frozen, but cold. Whew. Are we ready to do this? No mistakes. No mistakes. Hopefully. Yeah, let's do it backwards, right? Okay, so that's going to go in, no issues. That will still hit our fan. Alright, it's now or never, right? And let's start our 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern again. Let's go for 1, 2, almost 3. 4. Alright, we're already further. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we have all the ones in the center to do. Before I proceed any further, we're going to plug in both of these fans, which are both very important, especially in a Alright, now let's untuck this wire for the time being. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to start with 5. 6. 7. Where's 8? 8. 9. 10. 11 and 12. So this is the order they have it numbered on the entire the heat pipes, entire heat pipe fan, heatsink assembly. That's the order they got it numbered in, at least on this laptop. Probably changes on a different model, so. Does this thing have? Certainly it has. Okay, Wi-Fi goes there. You can take note of, we're missing something right there. Let's take a look at what it could be. I think I don't have what goes there, but I have something similar to what would go there. It's actually missing a SATA port. So a SATA port would go there for a hard drive. Perhaps on a different model it would have little pegs to fit down in the holes, plastic pegs, and then pins to solder across the back here. So that is where a second hard drive would go. Similar, we would need a piece similar to this one. It's not on a daughter board though, it would go on the actual motherboard, but it's not in there, so no hard drive there. A lot of people have questions when they see stuff like this, internally at least, on their own computer. Could I find the right SATA port and add it? Perhaps. Generally, no. Generally not gonna happen, because Typically when they leave ports like this off, or a common question I've seen is, oh, can I add another RAM slot in when there's like only one RAM slot on the motherboard, which happens quite a bit with the cut corner laptops. Let's take a look here. So whenever you can tell that another RAM slot goes here, and if I go get another board almost identical to this is an AMD, when if I go grab the Intel variant of this motherboard that goes into an HP laptop, you would see that there's two RAM slots back to back. One stick goes this way, one comes this way. Typically what happens when they leave that second RAM slot off, you're going to be missing components. Like, see how there's stuff missing? So there's not going to be the proper components on to power that second slot of RAM, or that second slot where the stick of RAM would go. So in this case, you're probably missing stuff on the motherboard that would run that SATA port for a secondary hard drive, or SATA interface solid state hard drive, whatever you're going to put there. So you already have your M.2 drive here. You have your conventional hard drive, which a good idea for, at least for this computer, would be to swap this out for an actual SATA interface. Like a 2.5-inch solid state drive. So before I forget this, we're going to put a little mark. The black one goes there. Now, is this just going to lift up with no issues? I don't foresee it happening that easy. Ah, what a dummy. Let me plug that back in. We have a whole tray that seems like it comes out here if we take a second look at it. So, if the owner watches this at some point, I'll give you an idea of what you could do to give your computer a little bit more of a speed boost. So there we have that. We'll just unplug the whole thing. See how easy it is. We'll tuck our wire back in while we're at it. So you have a Hitachi Global Star 1 terabyte hard drive here. What? Oh, they have that stuck down with some good adhesive. I'm not going to show it, but yeah, it's in there. So yeah, you have a 1 terabyte hard drive in here. You could get, what did I say? It's a Hitachi Global Star. Global Star Technologies. Yeah, so Hitachi drive. You can put a 1 terabyte SSD in here. I'm not sure what those cost off the top of my head. But let's pop one up on the old screen real quick. Let's get another tab up here. And can we show my screen? Indeed we can. Okay. And let's head on over to Amazon. Here is a Samsung solid state drive N860 Evo, 1 terabyte. Whenever the page actually loads. Okay, so you're talking a 1 terabyte is going to be about $146.48, and it seems as though you can go all the way up to 4 terabytes now. I hate to see the cost of this. What is $549? Now, funny enough, you used to pay close to that for, I think, probably like a 500 gig SSD at one point when technology was still brand new. You may not need that in your computer, possibly just the 1 terabyte. You can even go with a 500 gig or a different brand. Like what's a Kingston 480 cost? And my computer's not typing. Kingston or Crucial or SanDisk. SanDisk isn't a bad brand. So there you go. A few prices on stuff. Just look up SSD. You need a 2.5-inch one. 7213. So 480 gig. That's on it from a Spanish site. A little cheaper yet. Well, that's 120. This is not a bad brand. We've been using these drives in a lot of computers, and very comparable with the read and write speeds, at least in the few tests that I've done. So, yeah. Let's go back over here and finish this build. Let me get rid of this tab. It's non-essential to the stream. We're just talking crazy for a couple minutes. Gonna SSD this thing out. We'll put this little piece, let's get it assembled and put back together. Alright, there's that, and then let's put our small Phillips back and go back for these two. Silver and then black. Alright, we have a Wi-Fi card to route over here. Let's go ahead. We'll get... I really don't have any room. I'm going to run out of balance for this thing. We'll pull it over. That's probably the best we can get. So, when doing this, you're going to have your wires running through here for your, one, your Wi-Fi, and two, your what is it, LVDS cable for your monitor is going to come through there. So right now, let's just go ahead and pop the Wi-Fi card in first. It came out last, so we need to put it in first. This is going in reverse order. Alright, so we kept both of our antenna wires free of the screw when putting it in. Now we'll put them back where they were, throw our Capcom tape back on, and let's get ready. We'll push our Wi-Fi antenna wires back down in this little chasm here, little channel. We're going to put our monitor cable in. It's got a lot of room to wiggle about and move. Then we also have to put it, the monitor cable goes down in that slot there. Which these kind can be fun. Alright, So let's see if we can get that back out some. There's that. And then let's tape this in how they had it. Cloth tape back on, and then we had one more piece, but I think it's stuck together. Let's try and stick it back here. It did actually catch itself. We'll try and unstick it. And miracles happen even very, very early in the morning sometimes. I don't even understand how that just happened, but hey, it's a thing. It happened. Let's back that out and move this back to center frame. We'll go in on this a little bit. I'm fairly certain that's that. Everything else we have here should we put the battery back in before we put the bottom case on? That's an idea. What do you think? Would you put the battery in? Let me know. Leave a comment. Keep the battery out. Put the battery in. All this time I was wondering, I have this screw over here that doesn't go up here with the bottom case screws. I had this one lone screw that I could not remember what it went to. And I just found the spot. I wasn't in a hurry, and the answer came to me. Awesome. So, battery in. We want that to stick back down. This is held in place with one screw. The little heat shield, it kind of rocks, and it tends to unstick from the actual SSD and everything that's touching up here. It will be up like that, no big deal. Just press it down, as when you put the bottom case back on, it's going to be pressed on. You can see where the bottom case was pressing on these pads to keep the silicone pads on it to help draw heat off of it. There is a piece of aluminum under there acting as a heat sink under the paint here. But yeah, so there you have it. That is the screen repair for an MSI MS-16J9. Let's see about putting this back together. I'm going to put it over all the audio ports, the USB Type-C, USB 3. I don't even know what all these are over here, but let's take a look at them quick. So we have what is that, DisplayPort? Is that like DisplayPort like on an Apple? Let's check. Let's see what's the story here. Is this DisplayPort like on an Apple computer? Probably some type of Thunderbolt. That is indeed like an Apple computer mini DisplayPort. There's another way you could probably get a second monitor out of that instead of using one of the USB 3 video out devices that have lag. You got that option there. I don't know if that would run the monitor. It might, depending on the age of the laptop. The USB-C. You got HDMI and the mini DisplayPort. Your RJ45 port, which seems like the center part of it might be missing. Let's see. Does an Ethernet cable lock in here? Let's check it out. Nope, it locks into the actual frame, so it's still good to go. Kensington lock. Nothing, virtually nothing along the front of this thing. A couple lights underneath that shine downward. Cool. And on the other side, we have a measly. You gonna focus on that? You're gonna try? There you go. USB 2 SD reader. And finally, where the power goes. Alright, let's put this thing back together and get out of here. It's late. It's been a long day. We were here, and then we did the day job at night. And then we're back here. And now it's finally time to start resting. This is where one of those little nano-sized cordless screwdrivers would come in handy. Just zzz, zzz, all the turning. I don't know, it's hard to justify spending like, I think 100, a little over 100 on something this big just because it's motorized. Someday, when that price drops, we will have one. We will be playing with it on the live stream, without a doubt. I'm just putting this all back together without testing it. Why? Because if it fails, we're not, if we have to put a different screen in, we're not tearing this all back apart right now. It will be later today or on Monday. So we're going to go with hope and prayers and faith and experience in that I've at least torn one other laptop apart in my life, and that we got a good part, and let all that add up to a successful job. We hope. Hopes are high, people. Knock on wood, right? You went back up, didn't you? Yeah, of course you did. You won't spin. Nothing in that spot to be covered by a little vent like that, but whatever, they got it there. Let it look good. I wonder what the power adapter for this thing is like. We're going to look it up to see if I have something here to give it a charge. Alright, we're going to go around one time, giving just a little twist with the fingers. Let's get the factory seal screw and go up the last remaining 6 on this edge. 3, 2, 1. And there we go. What do we say the verdict is? We got a little bit of a light glare, but no matter which way we tilt it, we're going to catch lights. If you want to see something, just take a look around. Look at the amount of lights that we have in this place that are super bright. That's a matte screen, and you can still see that many. All right, verdict. How bad did we fail? Is it dead? You know what? I don't think I hooked a ribbon up. I think there was a ribbon I missed on. I think there might have been. There's a cable. Was there? I'm not quite sure. There might have been. Ah, all right. Well, we can't leave it at that. We at least got to get it to turn on. So, off with the bottom we go. Let's lay these all out. Oh, what? 5. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 screws to take out. It could be a dead battery, but on the off chance that it is not, I'm going to check the placement of the battery one. I thought I checked it like twice. I looked at it. It didn't power on, so we're going to see what is the deal. It's a lot to tear apart just to change the screen whenever you can't pop the bezel off with the bottom case and the palm rest top case, whatever, all that on. Yeah, I like the laptops where like the HP 15F, the thin black HPs, and they made them a couple different colors. Those are great. Most of those you can literally pull the battery, because it has a removable battery, pull the battery, pop the bezel off without even tearing it. 2 screws, 2 little stickers, 2 screws, and the whole laptop is apart. Let's see, what did we forget? I feel like we didn't forget nothing, but it's late, it's not turning on. We'll at least take a look. Alright, we're back where we were. Let's get our metal flipper. This should be super easy. We're going to go around. Set this down and pop the bottom off. Yeah, see, I thought for sure there was something that we took out on this side, but I don't see nothing anywhere that would plug in, lead to anything. Our battery. There are DC jack plugs in there. There's our battery. Let's pull it and put it back in. Wi-Fi card is in, display is in. The RAM is there. Hopefully it's just a dead battery. We don't like broken computers. Alright, time to find the power supply for this thing to see what kind of power we're pushing. MSI MS-16J9 AC adapter. Yeah, 150 watts. Alright, we got some power on this thing. 19.5 volts, 7.7 amps. That is a beast of a power. We're going to see if we can get something to power it on at the bare minimum. And let's get our universal stuff down. We need to find something that will work. That is a fat middle plug. Not you, not you, not you. And possibly you, but I don't think. You might be one of the goofy ones. Maybe not. Alright, let's see what the verdict is. Alright, we do have a charge light. Let me make sure that is charged indeed. No, that is not. Or is it? That is the charge light, yes. So we have the middle light on, which is charged. This one over here would be the hard drive. And this one over here should be the Wi-Fi. So, dead battery. Let's put the screw back in for the battery. We're going to unplug, and we're going to take care to make sure this thing is plugged in 100%. It's slotted, okay? It is slotted. You can see that. This thing is very slotted, and it can only go in one way. So there we go. Nope, it doesn't tuck under. It just sits right on top, and that one screw goes down. So let's flip this up and see what the problem could be. Okay, we have life. Did our display light up? I didn't catch it. I had the dang thing in the way, and so we do have life. Just a dead battery. No reason to freak. Display is not broken. I'm trying to block the lights out. There's no way to block them all. So, my friend, owner of this awesome computer, do yourself a favor. Get yourself a solid state hard drive to go in place of this mechanical one. I mean, this is already a pretty rough and rugged computer. So I see your battery there. Let's point to it, because I don't think it was dead. I think this thing just might have issues where it don't. Yeah, we can't get a readout on the power. So let's go ahead and shut this thing down. We're gonna unplug it. So it's still staying on. Probably not for long. We are connected. Everything's connected. Everything's good. You'll notice I did unplug the RTC battery, real-time clock battery up here a few minutes ago. So this still had some power in, because when the clock was just displayed on the screen, it was February 1st, 5 a.m. So this had enough power to keep the settings for the system. When I unplug this, I'm going to go with it. It's got to be, it is what it is. It's good. The battery probably needs to charge. Let's go ahead and shut this thing down. This probably will not charge it, I'm going to guess, but let's go for the shutdown. Successful job. It is what it is. It starts up. It works. It's glorious. Yes, do yourself a favor. Get a... You shutting off? Let's take a look quick. We'll unplug this. and unplug the other battery. Do yourself a favor, upgrade your mechanical spinning hard drive to a solid state drive. Get a bigger M.2 solid state drive. You could also add more RAM. Now that the power's out, we're going to hit the button and drain the system. Take a look at the RAM while we're here. So we are running Nobody Knows because they didn't care to label it. Let's look this thing up. Which one's it going to be? Let's try this. Let's go for the display capture. We're going to go MSI 4D4. Okay, and 8 MB8, 8 gigs. Am I right? So 8 gigs of DDR4 2400, a laptop memory. Not bad. Not bad at all. 8 gigs of DDR4. So, at least running a fairly competent stick of RAM, 8 gigs of DDR4. Does the motherboard have any RAM built into it? I do not know. Do not know. PC3. Where did that thing go? If I had to guess where it be, there it be. There you are. Right there in my way. As always. Let's pull you out here and take a look. Let's see what we have. Actually, what do we have here? So we have... Yeah, that really wouldn't benefit you much. But we do have some RAM here, owner of the computer. If you upgrade, but I mean, if you're getting RAM, just go for it and get another 8 gig stick, or really spring for it and 16 gig sticks. It's not going to hurt your computer, I can say that. Adding more RAM. It will actually improve the performance a little for games and whatnot. I'm guessing it games okay now. It's a 1050 Ti mobile one, I believe. So it is aging a little, the graphics card, but still very competent for what you want to do. Hey, all I know is I don't have one of these computers, so if I could have one, I would, but I don't. So let's wrap this up and go home. We're gonna this is it. This is the job here. We're done. We're done. We're packing it in. We know that it worked. It'll probably charge off. It'll probably take a long time. But that's okay. We're going to plug it in and let it to charge overnight. And I'm a moron. I should have kept that plug out for the universal. But a tired brain does not operate efficiently, so we have something to power it up now. "16 screws stand in the way of rest, relaxation, all the good stuff." My live stream that I was listening to ended. Sorry if I was quiet during this live stream. I did not attempt to be. I attempt to at least talk. But I get quiet, the more tired I get, so please understand that. Anyhow, happy that nothing happened to this thing. There's always a chance when you work on a computer that something unknown happens. Board flexes and a solder joint breaks when the board flexes. You got to be careful though. But there's always that risk when you work on anything that you're gonna, mistakes were made. What can I say? Mistakes were made. Anyhow, let's start wrapping this up. If this is this your thing? Are you into this? Do you like tinkering, like tearing apart, learning, seeing what's inside there, fixing, going deeper into fixing, fault finding, all of it's fairly interesting if you ask me. It's beyond the point of even a job. It's, like I said, it's a hobby, a passion. Yes, it is a job, but more to the point is, if we didn't live in a society where money was needed to survive and live and get through this world, I would still be doing this for, it's what I enjoy. It's a lot of fun. You get to see a lot of stuff. Mistakes were made with some of the way they designed these. But yeah, if this is your thing and you do this, give somebody a hand that needs it done. Not everybody understands this stuff. If you're into this, you like this. If you like this video, like it, share it, get it out there. Maybe somebody else will need to see how to tear one of these down, along with who knows how many other videos. I always have the longest and most convoluted, broken up into two-part streams of anybody, but hey, somebody may dig it. You never know. Let's run around the circuit again, checking all 16 for a finger tight. Maybe we failed and gave up on one. Yeah. Have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Whenever you get to this spot, enjoy it. Fix something. Make something work again. Upgrade something. Get it going for somebody. Give them a hand. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to clean up and get out of here. Let's check. We are charging, allegedly. We are going to get out of here. And I say we because me and my tired brain are two individuals at this time. Thank you for hanging out now and in the future. I do appreciate each and every view, comment, any and all of it. Thank you so much. I'm going home. Have a good one. Let me out. Am I allowed to go home yet? I put the dang thing together. It works. Can I go home? Can I? Please.